Hello, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Higurashi. Oh, dude, my eye was tripping me. No, it's just the camera, dude. One looks like way whiter than the other. Weird stuff. Anyways, we're back. We're back. Hello. Hello. We're on episode 14, and we're starting Matsuri Bayashi. Just to go back to the last episode of it, I don't know if it's as awkward as I felt while recording it, but it kind of felt awkward. I mean, I haven't uploaded it yet, but no, I mean, it was like, I kind of wanted to, like, I feel like it's just a product of hype that would never reach hype. I don't want to go but down the whole thing. I think like the best analogy I could think of is like if you're a mountain climber and you like climb Mount Everest. Mount Everest would be like the scene from the visual novel, while the scene from the anime is like Mount Fuji. It's a fun time, great view. It's just not the same. And I still think it's like you can say that vice versa too for people who enjoy the anime scene more. Because when I did some YouTube stuff, I did see a video called Takano Kills Everyone, Best Scene in Higurashi. So obviously the scene's good enough to hit both viewers. It's just a difference in experience, I guess. That was a horrible analogy, but hopefully you get the gist of it, right? Um, but anyways, that's all. That's all. I'm sure it will be. Uh, yeah, whatever. Enough. But anyways, we're starting Matsuri Bayashi. Should be fun. I believe the preview showed that we're going over the Takano stuff, which should be cool. I think one thing about Higurashi, which I don't know if I mentioned, is that I really enjoy the backstories. I think they did a very good job in the visual novel. I think it doesn't show as much in the anime. They cut Keiichi's whole backstory basically, which was a shame because it's pretty good. They did do like an adaptation of Rena's, but it was definitely less effective than the visual novel. But I do, not to rag on it. I do like I liked what they did in Higurashi when they were doing like a mini Keiichi backstory. I thought the scene with that was actually pretty smart. But I don't think it's right to assume the same thing's gonna happen with Takano, since one, they have like so much episode space to do Matsuri Bayashi, so they don't really need to cut much, and two, it's probably more important than the other scenes, to be fair. A lot more attention. What am I doing? And so I'm sure it'll be good, probably. I mean, Aiden, you said that last episode. We're getting down the same train. No, what I'm saying is that it's a much more detailed and important scene in the original work, so it should be at least probably like very well done. We'll see if they make any changes though. I'm not too picky on it, to be honest. Just a lot of good things with the whole Takano backstory in general. I mean, we'll see how they do the orphanage stuff, because that was pretty crazy in the visual novel. I'm very interested in seeing how it looks in anime, if it's as crazy, because that was kind of insane. Um, but yeah. I also wonder like how's people's perspective of Takano at this point. Because I feel like in the visual novel scene, at least when I was just going around after I finished the visual novel, a lot of people had like the opinion of, oh, I hated Takano after Minagroshi, and now I kind of feel bad for her. I'm so conflicted. For me, I was like, yo, I kind of love Takano after Minagroshi, and now I just love her more. I mean, obviously the murder scene hit me, but it didn't linger too much. I mean, it kind of just made Takano a cool character, and her backstory was also very fun. Um, but yeah, let's see it. She went from my nicknames for her was like Taki Takano, and post Minagroshi was just, well, by Matsuru Bayashi it was Miyoko. And when I say me, that's a good clarification, which I've kind of been holding myself from saying Miyoko before in the reaction, so I think it slipped a couple times. I'm just referring to Takano, not child Takano, because obviously that's what she went by when she was a child. So, and I use Miyoko a lot, so it's not trying to be weird if I if it sounded kind of weird. For child Takano, I usually just call her Tiny Takano. I know, very confusing, Aiden. Stop giving nicknames. It's a great point. We should start the episode, by the way. We're kind of stalling. So let me get this loaded up. While I'm setting this up, remember you need your own copy of the episode too. So get your episode ready, and we will start the episode together after a countdown of 3. And on go. So, yeah, and of course there's a timer in the bottom right corner to help you sync or whatever, and post analysis at the end of the episode. So let's start. Matsuri Bayashi, otherwise known as Festival Music Chapter, Part 1, Miyo. No, Miyoko. In 3, 2, 1, go! Banter? Oh yeah, I mentioned it before, but I was watching the first season of Love Island 2015 UK edition. I finished that today. It's a pretty entertaining show, man. I really enjoyed it. I was very satisfied with the ending too. If you actually know what it is, my favorite person was Jessica. I always thought she was the most attractive. And while I hated her personality for the first couple episodes, she really does grow on you, huh? But yeah, she was cool. And the show's pretty cool too. I by the end of it, you kind of like think there's some pretty strong couples there, so very good entertainment. Would recommend. Also, it's kind of funny because they're British, so you learn a lot of British slang. Slightly different intro, maybe. What was I saying? I thought I saw something different. I could be wrong. But it is kind of funny. After I finished watching, I googled, "Hey, what are they up to now?" And the majority of them broke up like a couple weeks after the show, which is kind of sad. But I guess outside relationship is different when you're not in a resort with free alcohol and drugs. Oh yeah, it is different. Man, I should have paid more attention. Nice to see Hanyu in her outfit. New outfit. Just dropped for Hanyu. Anyways, to finish that off, yeah. Good show. Would recommend. And there's like a billion other seasons of it, so should be fun. Tiny Takano. Look at her, she's so tiny. And Hifumi. He never did have a sprite in the visual novel. Green dress too. I don't actually remember her outfit for a child sprite, so I don't know if she wore a green dress or not. They do love pairing her with that color of green though, even though it's kind of ugly normally. Also, drink for tonight is Nestle Pure Life pomegranate lemonade. No sugar, obviously, just sparkling water. It's pretty good. Kind of has a funky aftertaste, but it's good. This is always a pretty rad theory, by the way, from Hifumi. I know, like, a huge point is when people say, "Oh, this is a cool theory. You should write a fiction novel on it," and it's super insulting. But also, like, even though they are being super insulting, it is like a really cool cool idea for a novel. I mean, yeah. So, but I don't mean it in that way. It's just cool. It's one way to put it, Hifumi. I was trying to say is I don't remember, but is Tiny Tatsuno's voice actress the same? But I think it is. I was trying to say it sounded different, but it sounds the same actually when you hear it. Orphanage, hype. Straight out of a freaking horror movie. This is. Bro, how shit can you be using a key? We're jumping everywhere. Jesus. Oh, it's a bus this time. I think it was a train in the visual novel. I'm not sure exactly. Jesus. Takano's dad. Ew. You hate to see it. Uh, the good old child welfare section. Don't sound so annoyed, dude. What's with that cadence? Oh, you look like a nice guy. Sure, it'll be a nice house. What could go wrong? Is your eyes trying to open? That was a quick 180. Jesus. Don't spill your food, bro. You think there's any orphanages like this? Like Loti, I can kind of imagine it, to be honest. Probably not nowadays, but back in the days. It's pretty crazy though. Like, this was such a intense thing in the visual novel, man. Like obviously there's horror themes in the visual novel throughout, but for some reason I'd probably call this the most horrifying, to be honest. Especially the climax, right? Mm. I mean, it's definitely a hard call, especially for little kids like this, huh? How does it take so long with the key, bro? Freaking run! Oh my god. Run! Oh no. Ooh. Oh my god. I don't remember the hill part, but it could have happened. Jesus. Kinda soot. Love the pink blood. Wake up? No? Maybe? Pointer message? Don't miss it, Aiden. New tech? I played hide and seek behind the boiler room. Hey, it is. I think this is exactly how it was in the visual novel, to be honest. Yo, it's dude, he looks kind of sick. What is that Tatano outfit? Love to see it. What's his name? Koizumi Sensei? Look at Tatano looking spiffy, bro. She was just wearing her tacky outfit in the visual novel. Also, for some reason, my image of Koizumi looked a lot different, but he looks like a gentleman, kind of. I did it. Did the look. Did I just hear Sumi Horoboshi? Maybe. I will say the jumping around though does feel a bit awkward in anime form, but I'm pretty sure this is exactly how it was formatted in the visual novel, so can't really say anything about that. Ooh, they skipped the scene about the war thing. Maybe they'll place it later. Bro, this is where she meets Toмотaki, right? I like her outfit, dude. It's nice. I honestly think she can do without the scarf. The scarf's kind of like a random add-on, but it's nice. She looks nice in white. You know, it's different than her black outfit, but that's good. Bro, why does this man look like Hitler? The freaking Hitler stash, kinda. Tiny version. Try not to say it. It's too distracting, bro. This is how Irie got his name in front as the figurehead. Asian Hitler. Major, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Straight to major, huh? Eerie. I'm pretty sure Toмотaki was at that meeting in the visual novel. That's when they first met. Dude, Erie's bat. Speaking of bat stories, Erie had a very good bat story too. You know, really appreciated him. Gave a lot more to the character than just being kind of a meme. Hmm. He did some kind of fucked up things too, to be honest. But I mean, if it adds to the character, then it's always a positive. In my book, in my book, I'm sure people don't have the same point of view. Okinoki and Toмотaki. Finally, Toмотaki is his 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 military swag. They kind of robbed it from us in Minagoroshi. He also has a nice haircut, huh? Okinodi as per usual looking like a menace. That's so sketchy. Hate to see that, man. The flags. Kind of forgot about her mini flag thing. Rare look at Takano's parents. Like the hairpin too. Oh. Probably gonna end the episode off at the orphanage, huh? Climax of the orphanage. Maybe. Oh yeah, there's a cool CG here too, right? Tanashi. I always forget her OG name. Oh, come on. Okay. Dang, dude. There wasn't enough time. No climax, huh? Did she get hit by the lightning, though? That was a good episode, though. I think it was very accurate, besides cutting some talk with Hifumi, though I think they might just move it because it's, like, kind of important. So, solid, solid. I do love the orphanage stuff, too, right? It's so spooky. I, I mean, I just will make our final judgment once we hit the climax. The climax is actually just like hell, but like that orphanage is actually also just hell. I believe the casket torture was like putting them in like an iron casket and like constantly hitting it with a bat or something. It's so fucked up. Anyways, good stuff, good stuff. Weird way to end it, but wonder how the next episode's gonna be. Actually, yeah, there's definitely enough time to finish. It's gonna be all of Takano's story, huh? There's actually a lot more than I initially thought, to be fair. Oh, what is this? Where's my memes? That's just her waking up in her sit black outfit. This is kind of funny because this was actually placed somewhere different in the visual novel. It's placed right after she bit the guy's thumb finger, and then she woke up. Then it transitioned into whatever came next after that. her meeting with Koizumi, I believe. Wahahaha. Evil Major Miyoko. Here's my meme. Awo. Awawo. Mm. Okay, Rita. Knew that was coming. Tateno in a kimono? Also, lots of Tateno abuse. You don't like to see it. In fact, you might say you hate to see it, depending on your opinion of Tateno. Anyways, we're done with the episode. So, I just thank you for watching if you're piecing out, and hello if you are skipping to the analysis. Very solid episode, I think. Very accurate episode, too. Because Matsuri Bayashi, until you get to like the bulk of the story post fragment connecting, which you might not even know what the heck I'm talking about, because it might not be in the anime. It's a very weirdly formatted, and I'm pretty sure besides a switch up near the end, it's like almost the same to a T. Which I do think it feels a little awkward jumping from time to time like that. Um, More awkward than it felt when reading the visual novel, but I don't know how much you can blame them for just doing a complete adaptation. But it's cool, it's cool. So we get introduced to Tiny Takano, otherwise known as Miyoko Takano, and sometimes Miyoko Taneshi, depending on the time slot. She's adorable. I honestly did, for the longest time, just talking about Umineko a bit, without knowing anything about Higurashi besides seeing some of the characters. I always thought Lambda Delta was like Satoko. But then, like, after I finished the Higurashi visual novel, I looked more into Lambda Delta, and it seems like she's more like visually like Tiny Takano, and you can definitely see it. You can definitely see it. It's like a weird combination, like visually Tiny Takano, personality wise, Satoko, and kind of Takano. Anyways, it's not really important, but interesting fact. um Hifumi, we see at early stages, she's it hasn't been referenced too much in the anime, I think, but it was heavily referenced in the visual novel that Hifumi was the one that started the research. I'm trying to think if they referenced Hifumi really. I mean, they referenced him for sure, like he's the scientist that started it during the war, but I'm not sure if they like referenced like Takano taking over his research, because they did that in the visual novel in Minagoroshi. But anyways, you get to see some of um, his ideals moving onto her, especially his idea of becoming a god. It's a very odd way of putting it, but it made sense, right? If you are remembered throughout history by a decently large number of people or like a community or something, then it is in some way being immortalized. So I get it, but putting it like in a way that you become God is it makes it sound like really fancy, and especially to a kid, the idea sounds more grand than maybe it is. But I mean, Hifumi seems like a nice guy. Not really taking it out on him. Then we move to the orphanage part of Tatsuno's backstory, and this is, like I said, it's just horrifying. It was so like almost uncomfortable to read in the visual novel just because of how horrifying it sounded. And I think they did a pretty good job in the visual novel. It's actually just nightmare fuel. And I was saying, like, I can kind of see, like, there being at least a couple orphanages that are like this. Maybe back in the day. It's very hard to imagine it in modern day. But back in the day, just these horrible places with super strict rules. Um, yeah, it was not fun. But it is cool. Anyways, we see one of the girls playing with a key for like a million years. I mean, the key works, so I don't know how long it takes for you to open a door with a key. I guess it's I don't know. But anyways, we see Miyoko's parents die. Um, Pretty brutal scene, especially when he just coughs blood all over her face. Little fun fact: in the visual novel, it was a train that gets derailed. And in the anime, obviously, it's a bus. It doesn't really matter too much, but the idea of like a train crashing, at least for in my mind, kind of screams bigger accident, right? So it kind of made sense that like just a bunch of people freaking died because they were like on a like it wasn't just on a track, it was like on a elevated track high above the ground, and I believe they like swerved off and fell. Um, and I mean, obviously you can get deaths and injuries from a bus, but it just less impact. It doesn't. It literally doesn't really matter though. Just a fun fact. But yeah, unlucky. Then you got the child welfare officer with like such an annoyed cadence in his voice. You hate to see it, man. Not, not a good showing. Her getting introduced to the orphanage with the biggest 180 from the caretaker ever. Like you can tell, like when the child welfare officer is driving off, you're just like, oh man, this guy's trying to open his eyes and he's gonna be an ass, and he literally is. Then you just hear the horrible punishments. They mention like the casket punishment, and I believe in the visual novel it's described as they put a kid in like a funeral casket, and then they just like kick it around or like beat it with bats every once in a while to keep the kid constantly awake for like a day or something for like multiple hours. It's like honestly just torture. Torture punishments in this place. It's horrible. I would definitely recommend reading the visual novel, even though this is just it's a very good adaptation. Just going through like the description of the place and talking to his mindset is actually it's horrifying, dude. I love it. I do love it. Excuse me. And making the boy eat the curry off the floor like a dog. Also horrible. I think that's an anime exclusive. It's not in my memory. I could be wrong though. Then the four girls risking it all. um, and I mean they're super young kids, right? So it's obviously hard. I mean, being young also gives you a sort of bravery. But I guess you're kind of forced to mature in a place like this when they're literally gonna torture you if you don't. So it's just a tough call. Anyways, good scene, good scene. They escape. They split up. Miyoko bites the guy's finger off. In a pretty intense scene too, the struggle against the worker. Good stuff, good stuff. So far, mainly just compliments. Not much to say besides it is good. Then they move on to the Koizumi scene. In the visual novel, I think it's important, well, not important, interesting to note that the final scene of the episode was actually played here. After Miyoko bites the finger and runs off, they like transition to her waking up and drinking from the nightmare and drinking some coffee with the Gifu stuff. Though I think that I don't remember the speech at the end talking about how this will become part of her and her grandfather's history or something, but yeah, just interesting switch. I think I mean I don't know if it's significant or not. I don't think this is a bad thing though. So, but anyways, Koizumi and Miyoko's meeting. I mean, you gotta you gotta talk about Miyoko's drip. A nice white, sort of like a business suit. It looks very casual. I mean, not casual, normal from I don't know, when I just think of a Japanese office lady. Though I don't usually think of it in white, to be fair. And it looks good. It looks good. I mean, Miyoko's has that nice black uniform. In a lot of her other shots, and the white suede, it's a polar opposite, but it does look good. I I did comment the scarf is a little, it throws me off a little. I don't know. Do you guys appreciate the scarf? It's like in some wacky colors, and I just think it would look better without it. I mean, I'm actually a fan of scarves. I think they look. I mean, I don't wear scarves. I mean, like in for character designs, I think scarves can look pretty cool, but this just looks like it's tacked on, and I think just maybe a clear view of her neck would be better. I know that sounds kind of weird, but also like true, true, true. But yeah, you meet Koizumi. Koizumi's looking quite good too. You never did get a sprite for him in the visual novel. I mean, he is kind of an important side character. Definitely doesn't match my appearance of him in my head. Though it does seem it's a good talk, praising her a lot. I remember it was kind of weird in the visual novel, which is his first. There's like weird. It's not like flirty banter, though they weren't actually flirting, because Koizumi actually does care about Miyoko as more as a child, because he was really good friends with Hifumi. But it was like when you first meet Koizumi and you don't know anything about him being good, he did kind of come off as a creep, and you thought this whole conversation would go a different way when he when when like Miyoko's like, "Oh, remember that time you tried to spank my ass or something." Also, I think that got spurred on because his like hot nurse assistant came in too. Anyways, it was a little weird in the visual novel, but then once you learn more about Koizumi, he is a good person, kind of. Little bit of a womanizer, but he's a freaking old man, dude. What else are you, I was trying to say, what else are you gonna do with your time? But obviously, that's not maybe not a good statement. But yeah, he's a good guy, kinda. So an interesting thing is they did cut out a pretty big scene with this. Though I think they're probably just gonna move it around, because after this initial talk with Koizumi, they kind of talk. Koizumi then admits to why Takano's grandfather Hifumi does not had his research rejected in the past. It was basically because of the higher up in Tokyo, and the government were scared once they learned that a bunch of the soldiers were infected with this syndrome, just because there was an incident that kind of sparked another. I don't know if it sparked a war, but sparked some big tension when a Hinamizawan soldier shot a Chinese soldier, and while he was going through the syndrome, and they basically snubbed him for that. Though I do imagine they'll probably bring it up once we do see Hifumi being snubbed in the next episode. So, which I love that scene. It's just you just feel so bad for the guy, and then you know what Tatano does. And I'm pretty sure they play my favorite song, Hollow, and during that scene. So, a scene's good once when they add Hollow into it. But anyways, then they move on to the meeting with the higher ups. Basically, all the higher ups are like, whether they understand or not, and some of them do. Don't get me wrong. They basically are just totally like praising her and going through it because they are part of Koizumi's faction, because he has a powerful faction in Tokyo, so obviously they're gonna listen to her. Also, Asian Hitler, aka Japanese Hitler. Get out of here. Why would you willingly look like that, even if it wasn't your intention? interesting part is in this. Actually, maybe they just show it after. Maybe I'm confused. Anyways, introduction to Irie. This is actually an anime exclusive, to be honest. I don't think they ever showed her actually interviewing and talking to Irie. She kind of just chose him from a bunch of candidates after looking into his backstory and stuff. So it's kind of nice to see. Then they meet Tomotaki and I don't know. Okay, yeah. So it was the same meeting. It was the same meeting. They just kind of moved it around. I guess it does make sense when they're talking about finding someone to be the figurehead of the institute. So actually fine. It came off more awkward when I was reacting to it. Probably just kind of missed it because it's kind of weirdly placed. Not weirdly, like it actually made sense, but like the whole episode's weirdly placed. Again, very accurate to the visual novel, so it's not exactly a need this in the anime because it's literally normal. Then you have Takano's little standoff with God. Very powerful scene. And again, it made sense. Her life's literally went from being chill to her parents dying and her being in literally like the worst orphanage probably in Japan, to be honest. So it's interesting that I ended off here, by the way. Kind of a bit cliffhanger. Did she get hit by the lightning? Probably not. Um this is also something they never really answered in the visual novel. Um that I'm kind of interested. I don't know if anyone actually knows. But in the visual novel, I guess in the continuation of this scene, so it's kind of awkward, but a voice actually responds to Takano, like a female voice, which I assume is like some sort of god, maybe like on a similar plane as Hanyu. And then I kind of assume that maybe that entity is like pushing Takano forward, but they just never like go back to it, to be honest. Like you never learn what's up, what the heck's up with that. I like when I was reading Matsudashi, I like the crazy idea that maybe Nomura is like Nomura's like that god or something. I don't know, something crazy, but no, they never really get to it, so I got no idea. Just thought it was kind of interesting. Obviously some higher forces being played, as you will see in the next episode, but yeah, they never got into that. I wonder if they'll do it in the console arts, but who knows? Anyways, that's it. Plus, they did the little after credits episode or scene, which I talked about earlier, in a different position. Memes. Rika watching porn. Memes. But yeah. Like I said, a really solid episode. Tatano's backstory is very fun to. Fun, Aiden. How is it fun? She's literally going through hell. I don't mean it like that. I mean it's entertaining to consume. Okay, I'm not. I'm not a sadist, bro. I mean I like talking to a lot, so obviously not. But it is an enjoyable episode, and I'm excited to the conclusion because some crazy shit happens too. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But that's it for me. How did this episode? Why is this episode so long? I think it's because our intro is so long. We'll cut it down next time. But that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and next time we'll continue off the backstory. And then, yeah, that's it. So yeah, until then, see ya.